For those of you who are unaware, a couple of days ago a full showcase was uploaded of Cherry Team's newest project. It goes by the name of Kocmoc, or Kocmoc to most English people, as mispronouncing words is funny, and also it's an excuse to say Cock, so that's gotta be worth something. I could bore you with a heap of exposition about this level and its background in order to extend the length of the video to some arbitrary point which allows me to make 2 more pennies off of this, but that would be a waste of everyone's time and energy, so I'll just mention the absolute basics for the -6 people who don't know what this level is. Kocmoc was an Impossible Slaughterhouse remake that was created with the sole purpose of getting free views. It was then picked up by a group of Russian guys who set out to make this layout seem more important than it actually is, which they seem to have stuck to their guns on, as pretty much everyone who is anyone uploaded a showcase of this level a few days ago, which is actually pretty good marketing to be fair. It's surprisingly hard to ignore something when every top player showcase channel and their friend's aunt's dog is advertising it. Being a huge fan of Slaughterhouse, I was absolutely ecstatic about finally getting to see the fully decorated version of a remake of my favourite level. I was on the edge of my seat waiting for it to premiere. I knew that this would be a defining moment of my life, that when I'm older and have grandkids, they will ask me about the Kocmoc showcase. Of course I'm just kidding, because I couldn't give 2 shits about it. I wasn't even planning to talk about the level, but then something changed. Kocmoc opens on a part which is extremely average. It's not bad by any standards, but at this point the style of it has been so many times that it really isn't anything mind-blowing. The glitch effects look pretty cool, but other than that it's an uninteresting part. The same can be said for the first wave. Some of the structuring is intriguing and the designs look clean enough, but it's still nothing too special. By this point I was already prepared to dismiss Kocmoc's decoration as something that was good but also lacked any real character to it.
Too cold and sterile. Where's the heart?
That was until the start of the second wave. This part. My god, this part is good. The decoration in this part is absolutely top tier stuff. The cartoony cheese-like wedges in this part that recreate the appearances of planets in old kids shows really is spot on, and the combination of that with satellites, rovers, and other mechanical elements such as these clubstep rabbits, registered trademark, adds so much character to it. The background, whilst relatively basic, adds greatly to the intensity with its constant spinning, shaking and pulsing. This part really strikes the perfect balance between detail and simplicity, and I adore it. And the transition out of it is stellar. It's a real shame that this section is only 9 seconds long, as I would gladly see the entire level in this style. After how close I came to climaxing over the last part, this next bit certainly feels like a bit of a buzzkill, although to call it bad would be way too harsh. The moon rock texturing on the blocks, whilst nowhere near as spectacular as the last part, is still passable enough. The rest of the blocks still have a nice design, but what steals the show here is the foreground and background. The spaceships flying through, in addition to the falling satellites that were probably knocked out of orbit by the aneurysm this amazing blue star thing is having, is good enough to keep me engaged, which is still more than every other upcoming top 1 can manage. The transition out of this part is again nowhere near as noteworthy as the other one, but I still like it. Konzi's part is another spectacular one. You might be wondering why he's the only creator I've named so far, and that's simply because I found his name on one of the structures and now I know who made the part. Back to it though. It takes a little bit of what I liked from both prior sections and uses it to make a section which is easily one of my favourites for the level. I consider the structuring in this to be amazing. I like the jaggedness of the spikes in the mini-wave, but it does sort of start to fall back into the typical design style that made me so indifferent towards the first wave. I'm glad that the purple spikes jutting out of the ground and ceiling remain constant though, as that and the lightning on the blocks is one of the main appeals of this part besides the background, which may be my favourite one so far. The black hole in the background warping its surroundings looks so menacing and I love it. As for the transition out of the drop with everything glitching then falling away, it's also awesome. The void left by the lack of decoration perfectly shifts into the final section. Unfortunately, the last part of this level isn't able to capture quite the same intrigue from me as the drop did. This part is much more simple and conforms to the normal decoration that Cherry Team puts in their levels, although I don't mind it as a grand finale with cartoony designs or intricate structures just wouldn't work here. Simple black platforms with white and grey highlights and stars to add detail is good enough. The occasional pulses of colour do add to this part for me, and as a result it's fine. And to end off, the final transition into the end screen, which recreates a reel of film burning up, perfectly fits the theme of space in my opinion, and this final end screen is one of my all-time favourites. All in all, Kocmoc is a genuinely incredible level, and I couldn't be more surprised about how much I actually ended up liking it. Besides the obvious handicap of the atrocious gameplay and being a remake of one of the worst levels in the entire game, and the first 2 parts being nothing all that special, everything in it is amazing, and it just goes to show how creative levels can end up being if a concept is given to the right group of people. This level's made me really interested to look into more stuff related to space, to see what other wonders our universe has to offer.